Well, hello, this is Rochelle, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I prepare to do my journal for 2025. This is my Bible journaling journal, so I will link a video somewhere here um, that will tell you a little bit more about the Bible journaling group that I host on a monthly basis. And in 2025, we're going to be working through the Women of the Bible. Now, regardless of where you journal in, if you prefer to journal in your Bible directly or if you prefer to journal in a journal, that choice and preference is entirely up to you. There's no hard and fast rule. I usually use a disc-bound journal that I make myself. I have used a traveler's notebook, which worked great. This year I'm using the journal by Sailor Art. It is not a very difficult journal to make. It's just labor intensive. So you can make your own if you weren't in time to get one from Adele. And then I'm using a Ella Roots printable. I'm using some Creative Talents clear primer, and I'm gluing my paper that I printed on normal copier paper with an inkjet printer onto this cover, so that it then has this collage kind of thing that I'm creating here. Whatever you use and whatever you decorate it with and however you set it up, it must be such that you are going to want to come back to it. That's, I think, my best advice for preparing for 2025 or preparing for a new year of journaling. It is a big decision, and it's got to be something that works for you. It shouldn't be something that's someone else's choice or someone else's instructions or something like that. It must be something that is your choice, so that as you watch and grow and work in this journal, it is aesthetically pleasing enough to make you want to come back to it. If it's something that you dislike, the chances that you're going to want to come back to it is slim. So I know if there's something that is not working for me, I don't want to be reminded of it frequently. So spend time in this. If I tell you that this process with the decorating of this cover probably took me about 2-3 days, just because it wasn't an instant, yes, let's do this kind of thing. It took some time, and it took some planning, and it took some playing, and there are mistakes in here, and it's okay. It's part of the journey. It's part of the process. There is, because it was printed on an inkjet home printer, the clear primer moved some of the ink and some of the colors changed, and it's got to work for you. So when I apply this clear primer, I apply it to both the cover and to the bottom of the paper. And while it's still wet, then put them onto one another and then apply another layer of clear primer on top. With the back cover, let me tell you, it was a hot mess until it wasn't. It just didn't. I was in too much of a rush, so some of the paper lifted, and you can't really see it when it's wet, but when it's dry, you see these kind of bubbles, and it's like I said, it's part of the process, part of the working, part of the method and the memory and the spending the time being creative. Sometimes that's even more important than actually being creative. I did use an Inktense pencil and outline those kind of images that I added there. This is now decorating the inner of the covers. I didn't want them to be black, so I'm using paper, colored paper, and I stuck them onto a big double-sided tape sheet. You can also do double-sided tape around the edges and smaller strips if you don't have big double-sided tape sheets, then you can do that. Again, regardless, you can even do the primer, the Creative Talents Clear Primer thing. Again, it entirely depends on you, and it's got to be something that works for you. I just am showing you a few options. My sheet is slightly bigger than the page, so I am doctoring a little bit here. When working with double-sided tape, remember that it will make your craft knives and scissors very sticky, which you can clean with some fresh lemon and baking soda, or alcohol, however you kind of clean your goodies. I have a dedicated sticky stuff craft knife that isn't my special craft knife, if that makes sense at all. Anyway, so there's that. And then once this color is what I like and the inside is what I like, I realized that I didn't leave the markings for where the holes should be re-punched. Very fun, but we do it nonetheless. So as I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I am going to, throughout the year, have my bullet journal paper inside. It is a 5 bullet journal paper, so it's slightly narrower than this 10 by 10 journal, which is fine with me. It is what it is. And because the rings are a little small, it doesn't handle all of the paper that Adele put in there, so I'm taking some out. Make it work for you. Now, because I tore these pages, these bullet journal pages, out of a existing dot journal notebook, they vary in size. And again, that's fine with me. I'm not aiming for perfection here. I'm aiming for usability. I'm aiming for ease. So it really is, even the cover is quite rugged on the edges, and it has a work in process or work in progress feel for me. It's something that feels like it's going to be worked in, and that's what I'm after this year. I want the Lord to work on my story like he worked on these women in the Bible, and on their stories, and on their challenges, and on their promises, and all of that. So just inserting randomly some of the colored craft paper, the black paper, the vellum, my bullet journal paper, etc., etc. It's not completely set the way it should be, but nonetheless it is there, so that I can then work in it, write out my verses. I use the bullet journal paper to write my verses. If you want to put in lined paper, put in lined paper. If you want to type out the verses and print them and stick them in, or punch them and put them in your journal, do whatever works for you. For me, I enjoy writing on the bullet journal paper. It's the only way that I can write straight these days. And then I enjoy the exercise of writing the scriptures, because it helps me to memorize them. It helps me to work through them, because I'm searching for them in different translations. That's also part of the process for me. I'm going to cover with DC Fix or cling plastic. I don't even know what it's called. I'm going to cover the book, just because I know from my previous ones they do take quite a beating. I should have cut it to size before I went over again. I learned from the back cover and didn't repeat the same mistakes on the front cover. But yes, so there's that. Just using some, I think this is from Westpac or some other place. I'm done with covering kids' books now, I think, I hope. I don't know yet. We'll have to see. But yes, so just cutting off the edges there and then repunching the holes using my crocodile punch. It just creates holes. Remember, if you're punching through sticky stuff like DC Fix or double-sided tape or whatever, it does make quite a beating on the actual punch, because it makes it sticky, just like it would your scissors or your craft knife. So if you can find a way to clean it or be mindful of that, I think that would be wise. And then just kind of covering the inside, doing the same, clearing off the plastic on the sides with a craft knife, and then making sure it's stuck down all the way and punching the holes. And that's it. My journal for 2025 is all done. I used the calendar words from Eshet Shael's Women of the Bible and Ella Ritz Printable. Thanks for joining me. See you soon. Bye-bye.